hello again, my fascinating Renaissance friends. Okay, this is the last leg of our trilogy, love trilogy. Which is what the builders of a long-lasting relationship and its corresponding destroyers, and we put them together. Okay, to share with you the principles we have culled from from these studies, and also the application to our own relationship of 42 years. And I'm doing this to celebrate our 42 years of being together. Okay, last episode okay, 124, I started with the 5 of 10 principles of long lasting love. And we're continuing, or we're finishing with the principle 6 to 10, really. Okay, and let's dig in. Or dive in, not dig in, but dive in. Episode, principle 6 is fidelity over betrayal. All right. Says, the study says that guard the boundaries. Okay, love cannot flourish in secrecy and betrayal. So we have to be intentional with our relationships outside of our marriage, because infidelity really hurts deeply, and some cases no relationship has ever recovered. In some cases, through difficult intervention, they they survive. Okay, better to prevent rather than to repair. All right. Principle 7 is gratitude over neglect. Simply means practice daily appreciation. Notice the little things, okay? The little things, because we've said that being seen and heard and appreciated does not require, grand gestures. It's actually the little moments that you think do not matter, like saying something like what I've said in the previous episode, like, this pen sucks, I was talking to myself, and before I knew it, my husband heard it without telling me. Ordered really some nice writing pens. I mean, really, truly, these things mean more a lot to me. And of course, the big things that he would really endeavor to do for me. Okay. So, principle 8, oh, I like this, shared goals over separate paths. Is aligning your wine. Well, it doesn't mean that you will always have the same goals all the time. I'm not saying that. In fact, most of the time, our friends would always ask each one of us, you are two very, very different personalities, like you, Malu. You are type A personality, and they would say because you're driven, you're go go go. You're achievement oriented, and somebody in my psychological circle would always say, yeah, of course, she cannot help it. She is an INFJ, from the Myers Briggs personality test, the MBTI personality test. 16 personalities, and INFJ represents 1 to 3% only of the total worldwide population. That's what they tell me. Okay, and the psychology of strengths, listed achievement orientation as one of my top 5 strengths. Of course, I was wired like that by God. Now, my husband, is a cool dude. He is very artistic. He's very forward looking. He's very creative. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have goals. It's just that most of the time what he wants aligns with the why of what I want. It's not so much what we want, but why do we want these things? So if we agree on the why, We can agree on the what and the how. Okay, sometimes we'll say, we'll do it your way. Okay, why? It's because it's the same reason why we want the same thing. So it's not always, if he wants to go, to go here, I will force myself to go there. If I want to go here, he will force himself to go where I want to go. No, that's not the idea of shared goals over separate paths. It's finding the why, from the what, so that the how we can work it out. Like, we love to eat out. Why? For us, it's an adventure. For us, it's bonding. So regardless of whether we would like to eat here, there, everywhere, that's not the point. The point is, we're there together, we're enjoying, and we are suffering together. Because if we choose a dish that we are not familiar with, we suffer and we simply laugh. Okay. Things like that. Like, if I want something, for instance, like, I said, I'd like, I've not seen a circus for so long. I was a little girl, I don't remember, but there's a circus in town, one of those new developments here in the metropolis. And I told him, look, if after this out of town work I have, maybe we could go see a circus. Maybe I would like to feel like a little girl again. It says, okay, we will try and do that. Okay, and I also would like to see those. Are there still elephants? I don't know. I recall there are tigers. Okay, things like that. Sometimes I'd say, I'd like to go to this place. Why this place? And I would tell him the reason. Oh, okay. If that's the reason, I agree with you. I was just thinking of another place. And I would ask, why that place? Because like this and like this. And okay, tell you what. We'll go to my place, the place I desire now, and maybe next month, in one of our mini adventures, we go to the place that you like. Deal? So, deal. Okay? So, principle 9, security over fear. This is a big one. Build a safe haven. Be consistent, be reliable, be a comfort after, choose comfort after conflict, okay? Safety. I told you that I've always feel safe with him, even if I share with him those frightful nightmares, those stupid ideas, because I overthink a lot. I'm trying not to, but that's who I am. And I'll tell him, I have this little stupid thought. Can I just share it with you? And you say, okay, fine. You tell me. He will not laugh. He will not mock me. And he will say, don't worry. That's not going to happen. Okay. And of course, principle 10, safety above all. Never tolerate harm, aggression, and violence, must not have a place in your relationship, in your person, in your home, in your relationship together, wherever it is. Okay? So, my dear friends, these 10 principles are not simply theories. They must be lived and they must be practiced. And this is what transformed, I can tell you, this is what transformed a very simple love story from a fleeting romance, into lasting commitment. I told you about my fear of a 3 year syndrome. Like, my relationship would always last before, used to, not always, sorry, not always, used to last 3 years. After 3 years, I get bored. I say, this is not working. Okay, maybe we could call it off and, start a different relationship and things like that. And it was starting to happen with him, until he put his foot down and say, okay, let's try another 3 years. Okay, let's try and work it out. Let's try and work it out. And, after the next 3 years, 6 years, I said, oh, okay, it's working. And then maybe in the next 3 years, it won't work, until I stop counting, until it's 42 years. Okay, so it's all about what? A decision. It's all about, a decision. In our 42-year journey, we have stumbled again and again and again. It's not perfect. We have learned and we have grown. And I can tell you that our love lasted and will continue to last, more than 42 years. Not because it is perfect, it's far from perfect, but because we choose again and again to build rather than destroy. Okay, my friends, I find this respite from our regular programming and focus on what builds what builds love to last and what destroys long lasting love. And prayerfully, I pray for our own relationship to last our years on earth. Okay, and also I wish for all of you, okay, for your relationships to last, and not just you enduring it for the sake of society, for the sake of what people will say, for the sake of the children, for whatever sake, it is not worth enduring, but you can actually enjoy and continue to enjoy your long-term relationship. All right. So with this, again, engage with me, and don't forget to like and subscribe so that you will continue to receive, lessons like this twice a week. And I will always be very happy to answer your questions. I actually collect them, and in one episode, like the past 124 episodes, I collect them and I'll choose one episode and answer all of them, together. Okay, then. Okay, sayonara, my friends.